99% of new Airbnb hosts make the same mistakes in their first month. Many of them never recover from it. But here's the thing, it doesn't have to be that way. I'm James Murphy, and I've built a global short-term rental empire, launching over 500 properties across 4 continents in the last 6 years. Over that period, my business has generated more than $30 million in Airbnb bookings, and we've hosted over 100,000 guests. But let me be completely transparent with you. My first month in this business was worlds apart from where I am now. I still remember that feeling when you check your calendar and see nothing but empty dates staring back at you. Trust me, it's not a nice feeling, and that's exactly why I'm making this video. This is the blueprint I wish someone had given me when I had no idea of what I was doing. So let's get started. I wish I knew the foundations for Airbnb success. First, your foundations can make or break your Airbnb business. This is powerful stuff, and I learned a lot of it the hard way so that you don't have to. The first foundation is to craft a 10 out of 10 listing description. Sounds obvious? Oh man, most hosts have no idea how to do this right. And this literally prevents them from getting any results. Listen, your listing isn't just about your amenities. It's your chance to paint a clear picture that sells the experience before the guests even book. For example, instead of just writing modern 2-bedroom with balcony in downtown, instead you can try this. Step into your urban oasis on the 8th floor, where floor-to-ceiling windows flood the space with natural light. Or instead of saying 4-bedroom house with garden, try this. Create lasting family memories in this spacious haven where the kids can explore the magical backyard treehouse while you fire at the barbecue on the covered patio. See how much of a difference that makes. And as you can see, we're selling the lifestyle, the experience, and the memories our guests will make. It's all about helping potential guests visualize their entire stay with one read. This approach taps into what neuroscientists call neural coupling, a phenomenon documented in a Princeton University study. Basically, writing stories on your listings rather than just a list of amenities doesn't just entertain, they hijack our brains, activating neural regions as if we're living the experience ourselves. But here's the thing, even the most beautifully written listing can fall apart with what I'm about to share next. This is the foundation that prevents nightmare scenarios most new hosts don't see coming until it's too late. I'm talking about rock-solid house rules that protect your property and your profits. The really boring, really important stuff. This simple addition prevents 80% of the problems that sink most Airbnb businesses at the beginning. And besides the basic rules like no smoking and no parties and respect the neighbors, there are a few rules most beginners don't think about, and they're the ones that save you from the real headache. Rule number 1, block risky bookings before they even happen. Prevention is better than the cure. Forget no parties, that's obvious. The real move is spotting the red flags before the booking even gets accepted. Here's a classic example. Someone books one night on a weekend. They live in the same city, no message, no context. That's usually not a couple on vacation. It's someone about to use your place as a last-minute hangout spot with people who are never supposed to be there. Essentially, it's probably going to end up being a party. Learn to read between the lines. The best way to stop damage is never let it check in. Rule number 2. Quiet hours that feel like a guest perk, not a restriction. Instead of saying no noise after 10 p.m., like you're the fun police, say this is a peaceful home. We want it to feel like a proper reset for you and every future guest who stays here. Now it's not a rule, it's a vibe. You're not scolding them, you're inviting them to respect the standard. Rule number 3. No unregistered guests. This one's simple, but absolutely critical. Only the people on the booking are allowed in the property. You'd be surprised how many people try to sneak in extra guests. Suddenly your 2-person booking turns into 5 people sleeping on couches. So set the expectation early and clearly. Not because you're uptight, but because you're running a business. Rule number 4. Ban the silent destroyers. Smoking gets all the attention. But do you know what ruins places too? Candles, incense, glitter, shisha. These things stain, burn, or the smell lingers. They're not evil, but they create messes that slow you down between bookings. So include them in your not allowed list and explain why. Guests respect rules when they understand the why behind the what. But setting house rules and boundaries isn't just for protecting your furniture. They filter the wrong guests while inviting the right ones and building trust with every booking. Set them right from the beginning and you'll avoid 90% of the stress that most hosts never see coming. The interruption in the middle of the night and the stress of apologizing to neighbors could have easily been avoided with clearer upfront communication. And you know, it reminds me of my teenage years back in the UK. I was that kid who'd show up at house parties, have some fun, and think I was invincible. Now, as a responsible host, I'm the one setting boundaries instead of breaking them. It's funny how growing up flips the script. But clear rules aren't about being controlling. They're about creating safety for everyone involved. When I write my house rules now, I'm writing them for the teenage version of myself as well. Now, this house rules foundation must be paired with something equally powerful, and that is a systematic approach to guest communication. I learned this lesson the hard way, and it cost me thousands in lost bookings and some disappointing reviews before I got this right. And of course, make no mistake, I messed up badly at the start. It's completely normal. The key is never stop moving forward. But now, apart from using the Airbnb app for guest communication, I've blended in with some cool and easy to use apps to help me streamline the process. And don't worry, because you can learn how to use these apps on the first login. First up is automating check-in instructions, setting up automated follow-up sequence for guests, collecting ID, signing terms and conditions, and security deposit payments. You won't need this much at first, but once you start to get the ball rolling and start getting more consistent bookings, it will save you tons of time and prevent so many headaches. Apps like Zapier can help you create all the automations you need, while ChatGPT can also help you get everything set up in minutes. You can create a set of pre-saved second or third responses for follow-up questions you get asked all of the time. Your guests will get quick replies and you won't be tied to your phone 24/7. And that's what I call a win-win. Now I want to show you how to amplify everything we've covered so far with one more crucial foundation, creating that magical first impression for a warm, thoughtful welcome. Don't forget that the first 15 minutes of your guest stay can determine whether they become a one-time visitor or a loyal repeat customer. This is the big chance to really stand out from the crowd. I'm not talking about spending hundreds of dollars on welcome baskets and premium add-ons that eat into your cash flow. It could be as simple as a handwritten note, a local treat, or just making sure that the place smells amazing when they walk in. These little touches don't just decorate your property, they create that wow moment, and your guests will feel appreciated and genuinely cared for. So do you know what all of these foundations have in common? They're about creating relationships, not just transactions. And that's the bridge to a real breakthrough in this business. Remember, when you solve someone's problem, you create a partnership that benefits everyone. And your hosting journey will absolutely transform from a constant uphill battle into a self-operating powerhouse, cash-flowing machine. Just smooth sailing and stellar reviews, and that's what I call running a property empire on autopilot. That's the ultimate goal for all of us. We don't want to swap from one servant role into another servant role. It's all about freedom. So let me tell you something. If you can nail these foundations from day one, there's a big chance your growth will be parabolic. And take Beck and Nikki from inside our community, for example. They both started with almost zero experience and limited capital, but they learned these exact principles from day one. Their attention to listing quality and guest communication rocketed them from 0 to 8 properties in just 8 months. That is the power of Airbnb arbitrage if done the right way. But here's what most gurus won't tell you. Knowing these principles is just the starting line. The real money is made in the execution, in the daily operations. And this is literally what separates 6- and 7-figure hosts from those struggling to make ends meet. What I wish I knew about handling day-to-day operations. This is where the rubber meets the road. Day-to-day operations can either make your Airbnb business run like a well-oiled machine or turn it into a complete nightmare. Now, I want to start with something absolutely critical. Something that can truly make or break your business, how you manage your booking calendar and pricing. If I could go back to day one with what I know now, there's a single piece of advice that would change everything about my strategy. Always work with a 3-month view. Why? Because it lets you spot patterns and opportunities that most hosts miss completely. Let me give you a real example. In my first month, I priced every night the same. Big mistake. On top of that, I made no adjustments for a higher price 2 months or 3 months into the future. So bookings that should have been booked at a much higher price were getting booked at the rate that I had set across a full 3-month period. Now I know that Thursday through to Saturday should be priced 10 to 40% higher than Sunday through to Wednesday. And those local events with concerts happening, comedy clubs, guests coming from overseas, superstars performing, they are the absolute gold in this business. When these events are happening, you can easily double or triple your nightly rate. The best part is you don't even need to do all of this yourself. You can use a tool like Price Labs, plug in, and it will automate so much of this pricing process. It will understand when the demand is increasing and when the demand is decreasing. It will price accordingly, and that means you can increase your profits throughout the whole year. That's why having a longer term view when it comes to your pricing is so powerful. The next operational cornerstone is establishing a comprehensive contingency plan for inevitable guest issues. I learned this lesson across hundreds of properties. I'm talking about always having a stock of spare linens, extra towels, backup Wi-Fi routers, and a list of 24/7 repair contacts. It's even very important to have a spare key somewhere else on site, because trust me, something can go wrong, it will go wrong, and it will usually happen at about 10 or 11 p.m. on a Saturday night, the absolute last time you want it to happen. Now, the operational mindset that ties this entire system together is your ability to stay completely composed when issues arise. Your backup plans create the solution, but your calm response is what maintains 5-star reviews even during eventual problems. This single shift in approach has saved us thousands in potential refunds or poor reviews. I remember an incident when the air conditioning died during a heat wave, with a family of 5 checked in, an absolute nightmare. Instead of panicking, I followed our backup plan and delivered the portable AC units within a couple of hours. After that, we gave them a small partial refund and sent them a gift by card to a nearby ice cream shop. And guess what? They left us a 5-star review because of how we handled it. That's the key. Communicate quickly, solve problems promptly, and always go the extra mile. Because when guests see that you genuinely care about their experience, they're much more likely to understand when things don't go perfectly. And don't worry, over time, you're not going to be handling these things personally. As you grow, you have other people and systems to handle this all for you. It's not about doing all of the work, it's about making sure the work gets done. And I know I gave you tons of valuable information, but for now, my advice is to try to perfect just one of these systems, like your check-in process. Once that's running smoothly, move to the next. One of the biggest issues I see with entrepreneurs is they try to fix everything at once. And when you do that, nothing gets done. Before you know it, when you progressively optimize your business in this way, you've built an operation that practically runs itself, allowing you to focus on growth instead of daily firefighting. This is what I call your freedom system, the automated processes that work for you instead of you working for the system. Because successful day-to-day operations aren't about working harder, but smarter. And every system, checklist, and backup plan is designed to help you scale without losing your mind. But knowing these operation strategies is just part of the puzzle. Without what I'm about to show you next, you'll be flying completely blind with your business. I'm talking about the exact tracking system that helped us to identify the opportunity to add another 10 to 20% in profit to our business across the board. Most hosts never end up tracking the numbers in their business ever, let alone in the first month of running their Airbnbs. It's like flying a plane with a blindfold on. You're not even looking at the dashboard, and so obviously it's going to lead to a crash. This is the difference between hosts who struggle and those who build real wealth with Airbnb. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. What I wish I knew about tracking my progress. Success in the Airbnb game isn't about luck. It's about building your business the right way and tracking the right things from day one. Metrics are everything. Maths might have been boring at school, but it makes a big difference when it comes to business. But this doesn't need to be complicated. It can be super simple. It starts with running your bank account and credit card through a dedicated business entity and a business bank account. Whether you own your Airbnb or you're renting it through a sublet model, you need a proper legal and financial structure. And if you do own the property, it might be smarter to rent it to your own business, and that way, everything stays separate and you're better protected if anything goes wrong. Think of it this way. When you're juggling cleaning fees, supply runs, maintenance, and nightly bookings, having all income and expenses flow through a single account keeps your financial picture clean and compliant. Come tax season, you don't want to be asking yourself, was that $300 I spent at Home Goods or Bunnings or B&Q for my living room or my listing? Or did I pay for the delivery out of the right account? And this kind of financial blurring doesn't just cause stress, it can take it from a small problem to a really big problem. It can lead to tax mistakes, audit risks, and missed deductions. Setting up a business and using a separate bank account makes it easier to protect your money, track what you're really earning, and save more on taxes. Of course, your specific setup may vary, so it's essential to consult a tax professional to ensure that your structure fits your unique situation. Next, to grow your business further, you need to review guest feedback strategically. This is where most hosts completely drop the ball, but it's actually your most powerful tool for continuous improvement and maximum profitability. Pay attention to comments about check-in, bedding, and kitchen supplies. When 3 different guests mention the same detail, that's your priority for improvement. The numbers tell a story too. Occupancy and pricing aren't just metrics, they're the pulse of your business. You need to track your pricing by month and season to understand the performance trends, not just a flat average. Then monitor your occupancy or pickup, which is how fast your calendar fills up, and set clear targets to stay ahead. Also, week by week tracking lets you spot slowdowns before they hurt revenue, and comparing weekday versus weekend rates helps you fine-tune your pricing strategy with precision. 9 times out of 10, when we see an empty calendar that's not filling properly with bookings, it's a pricing issue. And when you know what to track and how to read these numbers, you can spot opportunities others miss completely. You can even start pushing your rates higher while maintaining occupancy. For example, if you're coming into a month with 70-80% occupancy, your prices are way too low, and that means you're probably leaving a lot of money on the table. In the same way, if you're coming into the month with way too low an occupancy, your pricing is probably too high, and you need to start to drop it down and then build the price back up over time. Track the right things now, and you'll be well on your way to long-term success that will separate you from 80% of hosts who struggle. Every month, I guide and witness regular people creating extraordinary results, like using these tracking principles. The secret is systematically measure what matters and use those insights to make strategic adjustments that compound into life-changing income streams. Now, what I'm about to share has personally saved me from thousands in penalties and unlocked hidden features from Airbnb. This is how you navigate Airbnb's ecosystem like a true professional. What I wish I knew about Airbnb's platform and policies. The Airbnb platform might seem straightforward at first glance, but an entire world of features is hidden from the inexperienced. Knowing how to navigate this ecosystem can be the difference between headaches and smooth sailing. The host dashboard is your command center. Every successful booking, guest message, and review flows through here. Take some time to explore each tab and feature. There's also the calendar sync option that most hosts overlook entirely. It automatically blocks off dates across multiple booking platforms. This means no more embarrassing double bookings or frantic apology messages to guests, which cost you time and money. As a side note, Airbnb is just one part of the marketing ecosystem for short-term rentals. And so ultimately you want to progress beyond just listing on Airbnb. To do so, we use a channel manager and property management system. This is a powerful tool that allows you to have a central place to manage all of your operations and to market your listings across Booking.com, Expedia, TripAdvisor, etc. This is such a big topic that I want to give this full attention in its own independent video. Now returning to the topic of the Airbnb dashboard. It gives you all the control you need, but this next feature gives you power. Strategically selecting your cancellation policy can be an absolute game changer. This isn't just some basic setting, and so many people overlook how much of a difference it can make in the demand on your listings. It's actually a strategic decision that shapes your entire guest profile and profitability. Because believe it or not, each policy creates a different kind of behavior in your customers. Flexible cancellation might get you more bookings, but it also attracts more last-minute cancellations. But what happens if you decide to run a strict policy instead? Well, that means fewer bookings, but more committed customers. Make sure to choose what aligns with your hosting style and property type, the strict policy or the flexible policy. One last comment on cancellation policies. In this day and age, people really want flexibility, especially after everything that happened with COVID. So I'd strongly recommend leaning to the side of flexibility, because at the end of the day, the lack of bookings you might receive with a strict policy is going to do more damage in the big picture than someone cancelling here and there last minute. Now let me reveal something that most hosts completely overlook: Airbnb's support ecosystem. And yes, beyond just contacting support when something goes wrong, the platform does offer a knowledge base and a community forum that contain a decent range of information and solutions to hosting challenges. This resource can certainly be helpful for basic questions and general troubleshooting. However, while the general Airbnb forums offer collective wisdom, they can also be filled with conflicting or outdated advice. They often lack the depth and precision needed for specific issues, particularly in specialized areas like optimizing luxury properties, implementing advanced pricing models, or growing a portfolio quickly. This is precisely where the value and power of a dedicated, expert community become indispensable for those truly committed to making Airbnb work for them. As an example, inside our community, members get access to curated strategies that have been battle tested across hundreds of real listings. We're an open playbook sharing the real systems, scripts, and insights that work in today's short-term rental economy. We are on the front lines of this business and in the trenches every day. When you combine all these elements and stay current with how the algorithm and platform think, you can make it work for you instead of against you. Now, I promise you something special at the beginning of this video, the exact breakdown of numbers. And what I'm about to share might change how you think about the potential of this Airbnb business. The financial breakdown. Let's dissect things. Take a property charging just $200 a night with 80% occupancy. With 24 nights booked, you're generating around $4,800 in monthly gross revenue. After paying the $2,000 rent to your landlord, you still have $2,800 in gross profit. Yes, you'll have expenses like energy, cleaning, Wi-Fi, water, local taxes for around maybe $1,300, but that still leaves you with a profit of $1,500 from every single property. Now, imagine scaling this but with 3 properties, or finding a way to enhance the one property you have to charge more per night, or using our strategies to increase the occupancy rate. All of these things are totally doable. All of these optimizations can make a huge difference, and that's when things really start to get interesting. This Airbnb thing is just a game, and if you can learn how to play it, oh man, the potential is huge. And what's most interesting is that you don't even need to own a single one of the units. This is about leveraging other people's properties to make money. Now, remember, the difference between those who dream about financial freedom and those who achieve it isn't just knowledge, it's implementation. So take these insights, implement them today, and start building your short-term rental empire one property at a time. Now, I've seen countless people get all the information and understand the concepts, but still fail to take action. And at this point, you've got the exact blueprint I wished I had during my first month on Airbnb. And so it's up to you what to do next. And if you are an action taker who's ready to commit to making things work for yourself, click on this video next. It's an entire masterclass to help you get started. I'll see you there.